Today, we're gonna play the best factory game according to the Steam reviews. And no, it is not Anno 1800. If you know my channel, you know we've played a lot of Anno 1800, but on Steam, this is only 82%. Now, I actually think this is not fully true because it didn't release on Steam right away, but you know, we're talking about 80–90%, right? It is not Captain of Industry either, which is right now at 94%. It's a great game too, we've covered it on the channel, don't hesitate to check if you want to see it. We're not talking about Satisfactory either, which is now in version 1.0 at 96%, so it's getting really good, right? There is very few people that don't like this game, but no, we're gonna go even higher. It is not Factorio either, which is at 97% of positive, so overwhelmingly positive for sure, especially now with the new DLC. But no, we're going to talk about SHAPEZ 2, which is at 98% positive. This is completely crazy. Now, it does have a lot less reviews because one, it hasn't been released a long time ago. It actually released in August of 2024 in early access. But don't worry, if you don't like early access, this is a game that's basically already ready. I don't know why they went into early access. I mean, yes, they have said that they will continue to listen to feedback and improve. There's a couple of things that they want to add for sure. But honestly, this game is already perfect. It's not like when Satisfactory released in early access, you know, a couple of years back. This one is definitely ready, as you can see with the reviews. What is this game? Well, basically, it is a factory game. It is a pure factory game. You will build multi-level, huge factories. It is basically like scraping off all of the things that may not be necessary, that may not be relevant to a factory game, to this bare bone. But this bare bone that is amazing. I know when you hear shape and when you see over here, you know, those different shapes and different colors, you may think like, this is maybe not my cup of tea, but I guarantee you that once you get into it, you cannot stop. In this episode and in the first few episodes of this series, I really want to get the basics, you know, very clear beginner's guide for all of you, full of tips for everybody. And then we'll move, you know, into each of the factories. The goal is to do all of them and really to show you very advanced layouts. I'm going to dedicate this one to Pyramis, who used to be the supporter on Patreon, now has moved to YouTube. Thank you, Pyramis, for supporting it. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. We're going to start with the operator certification, which is basically the tutorial. And don't worry, once you finish basically this tutorial, you actually move directly without losing your progress into a factory. You can choose the normal or hard, and then we'll do the other ones also later, right? There is a seed, so every map can be different. So if you want to play exactly on the same as me, you know, you can copy this seed over here. You have different difficulty level, which basically changes a couple of things, in particular, you know, the goals and your platform limit. There is also the copy paste. Is it free or not? We're going to go with the normal difficulty for this one because, again, I just want to show you all the basic of this game first before we move on to very advanced things. And yes, I know I'm not the first YouTuber out there. Of course, it's a couple of months since it's been released, but I guarantee you we're still going to have a great time. Now, to be clear, this game doesn't really have a story or anything like this. This is basically the most you're gonna see of the story, but they say, welcome to your certification. You did sign up, right? Either way, the Vortex requires us to evaluate your factory operator skills before issuing you an operator certification. Simply deliver the requested shapes as efficiently as possible. Then we're gonna get upgrades, technology, blueprints, and all of these cool things. We need to tell them we're gonna strive for efficiency and build no spaghetti factories, which is basically impossible, right? We will do spaghetti for sure, but we're gonna do clean spaghettis, and we will not damage any building for sure. I'm not in the business of damaging factories. Now, the great thing also with this game that sets it apart, for example, for Satisfactory or Factorio, is that you don't actually have a cost. The only cost is your time, and it's also the space. You know, the space is going to be limited. Not limited to this, we will have access, you know, to a basically unlimited space. There's going to be tons and tons of space in space, but space is a constraint. You know, there is logistic and things like this. At the beginning, we are limited to this platform here, but as I said, later on we'll get much more. So let's get started. We have right now very few things available to us. We have this extractor. I'm gonna press R. You can just click like this, get them all done. Again, there's no cost, so it's not a problem. You can get them all done quickly. Of course, later on, we'll build also a layout for this. Then we're gonna want, you know, this is basically a miner. This is an extractor that's going to extract this shape that looks a bit like a cake, right? Cut in 4. Then we have our conveyor belt. And by the way, you can press 1 on your keyboard, right, to get it. Should have taken out this, sorry, but there is a very good tutorial, as you can see, very clean. So you can drag. I think that's what's really working well into this game, is you don't have to click multiple times, and you can, of course, but you can also just drag and it immediately works really well. You can also place with C some anchors. So some anchors, that means this is not gonna move. I can go into any direction, it's not gonna move when I press C. Okay, so then we're gonna go over here, and that's going to jump, and the goal is to just deliver it to the vortex. So the vortex is this one over here. This is where we need to sand all of the shapes. As I said, there is pretty good tutorial that's going to be shown, and you can also get it into the knowledge panel over here. Pressing G, you will see a lot of great tutorials that explain you everything. So we have started, all right, with creating those shapes over here. They go into this belt, they're sent all the way there, and they're gonna be delivered here. One really cool thing is at the end of whatever you build, you can also see the shape that's being created. Right now, this shape is exactly this. In the future, we're gonna start, changing it, cutting it, and all of this. So this is really useful to be able to see that. Okay, here it is. The first one, we need to deliver 10, so that's gonna be very quick. Now, there is no way to increase the speed. Like if I press plus, for example, on my keyboard, it doesn't do anything. The way to increase speed is gonna be, to duplicate, for example, this line, or to upgrade this line. So now we need to do two things. We need to get this square shape, or we need to get half of the cake. So let's start with half of the cake. And as I said, there's no cost, so we can delete also those things, no problem. And we have unlocked now the cutter. So the cutter is going to enable us, right, to obviously cut something into shape. And one important thing I want to show you too is you have always this number over here, number like it says 3. This is how many buildings you need to have a fully saturated belt. So let's assume, I create this, that's going to fully saturate the belt. Actually, let's just send that here and do the thing. They actually told us to do it here. So if I have my belt that is full, like this is going to make my belt full. If I put only 1, then the belt later on is not going to be full. If I put 3, then it's going to be full. So that's the idea. We are going to want to split and merge. And again, this is really easy. As you can see, a couple of drag and drop, and we're done. So the shapes here, look at this, is going to cut into 2. And again, you can see it over here. So that's perfect. That's going to start making. We need 40. So while this is happening, let's do the same for the squares over here. You can see the shape is slightly different. Now this is a cake that's squared. So let's do the same here. Actually, let's create 2. Okay, we drag like this, bring it here, right, and here we can just deliver directly. So that's also going to start. We can potentially, if we say, okay, this is not going fast enough, I'm not getting 40 enough, well, that's easy. We can do the same, all right? Let's continue, bring this one here, bring this one there, and then instead of putting on top, we put on the bottom like this, right? And of course, we're gonna get, copy paste, we're gonna get blueprints, all those cool stuff. But yeah, now I've basically double, the speed of this, right? So that is great. That's going to quickly get us, to the end of this milestone. Let's prepare the same thing over here. Of course, don't hesitate to tell me if you have any question. Also, if you've played this game before, don't hesitate to check to share your thoughts and comments with everybody else. And again, I know right now this may seem very trivial, especially if you've played this game before. But if you know me, if you know my channel, we're gonna go a lot further than this. So we have delivered this one. Now we need to do the same of cutting for the squares, and we need to do a new one, which is cutting even more for the cake. So let's start over here. Right, we're gonna put 3. We're gonna need to delete some of this here, make some space for some more cutters. So let's go up, 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 up. So that should get us started for 40. And in the meantime, we can focus over here. So I want, potentially, let's stop this here. Okay. So we have this, right? We want to cut it even further. But if I just put a cutter next to it, it's not going to change anything because it's going to cut again in the same place. So what we want to do is actually to rotate it first. So let's do this, up, done. So now what's happening is I've rotated it, right? It went from vertical to horizontal. And so then we can actually cut it in half, right? It's going to cut in half, not the first one because the first one was the wrong one, but the ones after should be totally fine. Again, I don't have the copy paste right now, but we can quickly do the same, up, 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 and here, cut, cut, cut. Oops, yes. One thing I do want to mention is you can see here for the milestone, it shows, the shape in the top right corner. This is not what you can see over here. This is actually in the bottom right corner, but it is fine, right? The rotation doesn't matter as long as it is the exact same shape. So in the future, when we're going to get very complex shapes, rotation is going to matter a lot, but in this case over here, it's totally fine. With this, we have finished milestone 0. We can now unlock milestone 1, move to milestone 1. We will continue obviously with milestone 1. I think so far we haven't done anything very complex. And now we're going to get access to the stacker. So this is really important. It gives us access to a second floor. Plus it also gives us access to two things over here, the tasks and the upgrades. You can get them by pressing T, and you will see over here, task and upgrades. So for the task, let's actually pin all of these over here. Okay, we don't have access yet to the next one. That will be later on. And you can see also, by the way, that for each of those tasks, they're in multiple levels. First level, for example, is over here, right? This is basically a cake on top of a cake, right? A circle on top of a circle. Same for here, it's a square on top of a square. And then level 2 for the first layer is going to be actually half of this, then 1/4, then 2/4 on top of each, in front of each other, etc. So there's multiple levels. You need to finish the first one before you unlock the second, and each of those levels is going to give us research points. First one over here, for example, 1 research point, then 2, 2, and 6. And those research points, we're going to use them in the upgrade tab over here, which will enable us to do two things. One is to upgrade, the speed of things, the speed of belts and of machines, and two, to unlock new buildings, new functionalities. So, for example, to be able to rotate counterclockwise instead of clockwise, or to rotate 180 degrees, or to have a spatial cutter, not the same that we have, or a swapper, and many others in the future. So that is definitely important, to do those tasks, to get those research points. But if you want to really move forward, you need to do the milestone. It's the milestone goals that get you forward. The pin task will just give you upgrade points. So these ones, by the way, you can see here the cross. This is because we don't need this anymore, right? So we can actually, I think, just delete this. It's not going to be used anytime soon for anything. What we want to do now, and same over here, I think we really don't need any of this, so let's just delete it for now. Okay, so we want to do this one here, right? We want to do this very simple one too, and we want to try to do some of the pin task. Okay, let's dive right in. So I want to show you the stacker. So the stacker is going to take, maybe let's start over here. See, done. So I'm going to take this circle here, and I'm going to take one of these square. If you look at this shape over here, you can see basically it is the square at the bottom, the circle on top. You can also click on this one to easily see, how it's made of. So that's useful. And if you're really struggling with a specific shape, you can see a shape code here that you can copy and share, for example, on my Discord community. Okay, so we're going to use those stackers. Now, worth noting that for the stackers, it says 6, right? We need to have 6. Now, it doesn't have to be 6 in a line. We can also do, like that, right? And a stacker, like the name says, is going to stack two things. So that is why you see there is one on top of the other. So what needs to be at the bottom? Obviously, it's a square that needs to be at the bottom, right? So let's take this one, put it at the bottom, and look at this, already connected perfectly. Love it. And then at the top, we're going to need to bring this one. To go to the top, you press E to go up, and now we're at the top. And if you need to go back down, you can press Q. So here it is. We're going to have this one, that one, and again, you can see at the end of each belt, is this what we want? Yes, it is. Then we're going to merge here, merge, there. Sorry, I made a small mistake. Here it is. And then we can deliver it. Done. So that should deliver the first one. Then the second one is actually, basically cutting and cutting, right? So let's go. We're going to do it over there. 3 up. Then we're going to want to rotate and then cut again. It's very similar to the one we did before for circle. And then we can bring it to that. Press C and done. Okay, so those two should get started. You can see it's coming there. And this one, same. Okay, perfect. So that should do those two milestones or get them started. And in the meantime, you can continue using some of the other ones or these ones here to start doing those milestones. So let's get those pin tasks, sorry, I meant. So we can, for example, do this one. This is basically stacking, but instead of having one, rectangle at the bottom, this is just going to be 2 circles. So what we can do is something like this: 1 and 2 up, and we're going to stack them on top of each other. So let's go stacker again. Say 3, sorry, and 3. Rotate. This is typically, one of the layouts we're gonna want as a blueprint very quickly, but for now that we'll have to do. Okay, I need to go down, sorry. Up, press C here, perfect. And if we really want, this one to be finished quickly, we can do again the same here. Up, press C, go there, up, press C, go there, and do the same. We just need to leave a bit of space on the outside. Up, even if theoretically there is a way to do without that space, but let's start with the basics before I show you all of the tips to make things super efficient. Okay, done, and oops, done. Okay, so that should get us started with these guys. We've already made good progress here. Then we can do the same over here for that 2 rectangles on top of each other. Up, right click to delete something, by the way. Shift to select many things, and then you can also press delete if you want. And if you click over here, you'll see all of these hotkeys like mirror, rotate. There is also the C for the pipette, right? Copy. So that's all very useful. Okay, let's get that started. C, done. And again, please don't hesitate to tell me if you have any questions, things you want me to cover. Up. Good, and then we need our stackers. 3. Okay, up. Then, oops. You have to start at level 0. You can't start here right away. Done. And then we merge here. Done. And this side, same here. Perfect. Okay, so that is going to start this one. The next one is actually even more. And the last one is slightly more complex because we're going to need to cut and then, stack. But we've also finished the milestone, so let's continue. Now these guys, right, this is basically half, right? You just want to cut it in half, so that's pretty easy. Just need to do that. Up, up, up. We do need 400, so we may want to make it several times, but, to get started, that's fine. And I think it was the same on... No, this time here, look at this. We need to have this, but then we need to do the same and then stack it. So that's what we're going to do over here. And we're going to start cutting. No, sorry, let me just leave enough space. And we finish this one too, but give me a second. Then we need to rotate and we need to cut again. So that's going to create the same thing. And I'm recreating the same thing. I could also do this. But if I do that, then I only have half the belt. So that's not very efficient. Versus here, I have the full belt. And we just want to stack on top of each other, so we don't need to rotate or anything like this. We just need to put the stackers. So let's go. You can be the one at level 0, and you will be the one that goes up. This, right? Okay. We do need to just stop this. That's needed. We just merge. Okay. Merge. Done. And that should do the second one. As I said, we have finished this first pin task, so we get 1 research point, and we can continue with the second level of that same one, which is just cutting it in half. It was over here. Yep, perfect. Is this one not working? Oh, I forgot to put a jumper or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so let's cut this and cut that. That should finish this one pretty quickly. Done. Oh, and there's also a problem over here. What did I do? Oh, that is the wrong thing. And nobody told me anything. I put the stacker instead of the extractor here. Okay, my bad. My bad. Okay, now that should start. But this is why you really want to check at the end that you're building what you're expecting to build. But yeah, everything else is moving forward. So if we want, we could also double that one up. Or we could start one of the next one. So I'm using everything here. I'm using everything there. I am using almost everything here. So let's start this one, I guess. So we're going to take this and we're going to then bring it up there. And I know I said no spaghetti, but honestly, it's going to be pretty hard to do no spaghetti. Okay, please go down. Okay, so this one, this is that, right? We're going to want to cut it. Let's go. Let's cut up. So now we have half, and then we need to have just one of these. So that means we need to cut it 3 times. Then we need to rotate and then cut it again. Okay, I think that should be enough. Yeah. But then one important thing is if you look here, sorry, I should have made it there. So we have this and we have that one. If I stack them, this round part is going to go on top of the bottom one. So that's not good. We need to actually rotate it more so that now it goes next to it. So that is actually fine now. And then we just need to stack, as always, put 6. You can be the one at level 0. You can be the one at level 1. And then we just need to merge them over here. So press C, up, and done. And you can see it is that perfect, making progress on those two. And the last one, I don't think we can make it because we're already using all, but remember, as I said at the beginning, this is just the start. This is just using those small miners here. We're gonna get access in the future to all of the miners over here, which is basically unlimited. So there is a lot more to come. But for now, given this is a bit the tutorial, I am sort of limited. We basically need to wait for some of these to be finished. And here it is, we have finished one more, great. Next one is easy, it's again cutting it. We do need to rotate before we can cut, right? Which one is it here? So we're gonna need to, oops, sorry, press space. So I need to take this out. Then I need to rotate, and then cut one more time. One more time. And done. That should help us do this one here. We've also finished one more here. So we have, more points. We need to have 2 points. We're going to be able to unlock something. But before we do that, let's actually start the other ones. I also do want to make sure we are... What is that? Oh yeah, this is here. Where? Okay, sorry. There is a small problem here. What is the problem? So it's 2 and 1. Oh yes, this is the wrong one. Sorry, my bad. My bad. So we need to rotate more here. Let's go rotate. And that should be enough. That should be enough. We can see. Yeah, I think that's good now. Okay. And for this one, which one was it? Here. We need to cut it quickly. Up. Split, merge. It's so much quicker than if you think about Satisfactory, right? When you need to put first the splitter, then extend your belt between the splits, between the starting point and the splitter, between the splitter and the factory, and then to the next. So much quicker to do it here. But yeah, we're gonna start now. These, perfect, they're starting, this is starting, this is starting, these ones are almost finished. So while this is happening, let's check the upgrades. So as I said before, we can either unlock some new buildings, some new functionalities, or we can upgrade our belts, or cutting, or stacking to go faster. So to go, for example, for the conveyor belt from 60 per minute to 90 per minute, and same for some of the other ones. I do suggest you try to upgrade all of these at the same time so that your factories stay always the same ratios. If you think you need, for example, I said 6 stackers, right? If you upgrade all of them at the same time, then you will, you won't need to change your factories. having this cutter over here, which instead of the current cutter we have, they take half and they also destroyed half. Now we have this cutter over here. Instead of destroying half, it will just cut and separate. You will have the west part and the east part on two different belts. This is really, really powerful. But yeah, I think what we're gonna do is, as soon as we get 6, we're gonna upgrade these ones to level 2, and then when we get 6 more, we'll do the cutter. And here it is. We are at 6, and we're almost finished with number 1, cutting step by step. So let's go into our upgrade, and as I said, use our 6 to upgrade all of them to level 2. So they should now go faster, right? You should see them moving faster, but the ratio shouldn't have changed. This is still 6 for this stacker. This is still 3 for the half destroyer. Right, so it's all of our factories are still working at 100%. And by the way, you can check over here by clicking on each of the machine. If you wait for a couple of seconds, it's going to tell you if you are actually 100% efficient or not. So it's basically going through, a couple of iteration, and it's telling you, okay, this one, yes, it is 100% efficient. We're creating 15 per minute for each of them. Great job. Great job. And with this, we finished already 2 more. Look at this. Great progress. Now, this is easy. We basically just need to cut it over here. Perfect. And this one there is actually not so easy because, it's not just cutting. We're going to need to add more. Like, we're going to need to keep this one, but add more to it. Okay. So let's see. Which one should I be doing right now? We have many to be. Like, actually, we need to do everything. We need to do everything. So, let me check. This one is easy. This is just cutting it in half. So let's do that first. This and that. No, sorry, I forgot to rotate it first. So we need to first rotate it. So if we look at the rotator, it is actually 2 to make it fully efficient. So let's do that. And then we can cut with 3. Perfect. And that should create the top one. Then the second one is 2 squares. Okay, so maybe we use this one over here. Yeah, I don't think we need this here. So let's do it a bit more properly. So we have these 2 are being created, but right now they're being created at the same place. So what we want to do is to rotate that one 2 times actually. All right, and so now it's going to be one at the bottom left and one at the top right. That is exactly what we need. Perfect. So let's do this. Let's remerge, and then we need to stack. So 3 and 3. You can be the one at the bottom, and you will be the one at the top. Okay. I can't wait to have the blueprint so that we can start, make a blueprint of these buildings. But yeah, that should create the second one. And now we can focus on doing the same for the pin task, right? Continuing moving forward. So let's see, this one over here, for example, that was an easy one. That was just cutting. So let's see, let's cut at, no, this is not the right way. We need to rotate it first. Okay, can rotate maybe over here. Up. So let's go, and then cut. Up. That is exactly what we need. Perfect. Good. So can delete this one. That's going to create the third one. Then it moves to here. What do we need to do here? Okay, this one is a slightly more complex because we're gonna need here. Okay, let me take that, bring this one here, and we need to bring this one over here. We need to cut it in half. So that's easy. Up, up, and then we need to stack. So let's go, let's stack. I know I'm going, maybe a bit too fast. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you feel I am going too fast. But this is fairly easy once you get the hang of it, I feel. So here it is. Wait, no, something is wrong. What's wrong? I forgot to rotate it. My bad. So this is wrong. Sorry. I just said it's easy and then I make a mistake. Good job. So this needs to be rotated actually probably twice. Let me check. Because yeah, this is twice. So we're not gonna have the space here. Damn. I need to turn it around, so that's going to create some spaghettis, sorry. And this is because I don't have the copy paste tool right now, otherwise I would just copy paste. But yeah, here it is. So now it is perfect, right? You can see the squares are at the top, this is at the bottom, so that will work. Let's go up, and then we just need to merge here. Done. Okay, so we have the last one done. Here, this is not really needed anymore. We need to do the same. So let's instead, we're going to use it for something else. Give me a second. Press Shift to select all of this. So we have this is not exactly what I wanted to do, sorry. So this is fine. We're going to merge all of this together. And I don't have another one here. So what we're going to do then is just take this one here. Okay. And then we're going to stack one more time. So it's not going to work at 100% efficiency, I'm sorry, but that will work. That's the important. Oh, I made a mistake here. Sorry. Yep. I blocked the way. So this one needs to be deleted and we need to go up before. Okay. So with this, we're going to stack 3 times basically. But again, this is not 100% efficient because here we're taking half of it away from the belt. But at least it's gonna start. We have finished this one already. Oh, okay, making good progress over here. On this side there, okay, that is actually pretty not easy, but you know, what we need to do is to continue rotating this one 2 times. And then we're going to stack with the other one, which is this one here. So let's go here maybe, put the stackers like that. Okay, so you can be at the bottom and you will be at the top. Up, perfect. And again, just check. Yeah, this is exactly what we need. Perfect. So that is great. Oh, there is one problem over here. Missing. So the only one we're not doing is that one here, which was here. Right. So this is fine, but we need to put on top a circle. So where do we have a circle? We still have one circle over here. Okay, so let's do that. Up. We'll press C, done. Then we're gonna bring it up. And then we'll just bring it down. Okay. I know I'm going a bit fast, but it's because we're almost at the end of milestone 1, and milestone 2 is blueprints, where you can start really doing, you know, blueprints. So that will be really good. But yeah, let's finish this one here. We need to put them on top of each other. It's actually, you know, very basic. It's just on top of each other with the one we created before at the bottom. So let's bring it like that. Can actually finish that first. Up, same here, and this one goes on top. Up. Good. And while I was talking, we finished one of the milestones already. We also finished one more of the task upgrade. Ooh, that is great progress. Right, we are getting to the end of all of these. We have made that one too. The next one is basically just one more on top, so we can also start that. Where was I making? It was here, right? Yes, it was here. So this is actually, no, I can do this. Look at this. We're gonna do E. We're gonna continue this one up. We're gonna then bring it down up, because what we want to do is then just stack. Oof. Putting 6 over here is gonna be a bit tight unless I go all the way over here. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's not like space is again a problem right now. So let's go here. This one is at the bottom, and this one needs to get on top. Up. I know we finished milestone 2, but just give me a second to do that one here. And this goes here. Up. That should be exactly this one here. Yes. So yes, here it is, ladies and gents. We have finished milestone level 1. We can move to level 2. That is going to give access to the blueprint And with this, we can really start, copy and pasting things that are in our factory, but also, putting them into, sorry, let me show you actually very quickly, right? I kept doing this blueprint, for example, right? Where we have one at the bottom, let's do it like this. And we have one at level 1 like this. And then we have on the outside, so a merger of the output, right? Like that is a very simple blueprint. So what you do is you press Shift, you select it over here, and then you can click over here, Control S, to put it into your blueprint folder. You give it a name. We say, for example, this is a 6 stacker, right? We can save, and when you click over here in the blueprint library, you can see some of the other blueprint I've done in the past, and you can also put them over here wherever you want. So for example, now I'm putting it in number 2. So if I go, over, sorry, did you go out over here? I know you can do Control C and Control V. So can you go away now? So yes, here, I have my shape. Here I have my blueprint. This is Shift 7. So if I press Shift 7, I can see my blueprints. And if I press 2, now I have the standard blueprint we created there. So then we're going to want to create one also for, the cutter, probably one also with the cutter and then the rotation and then cutting again. Right, so we create a couple of those blueprints, and that's going to help us, of course, to, create factories bigger and bigger. We have a couple of pin tasks to do. We want, of course, to move now also further into the milestone. We have potential upgrades, like we want to do the cutter over here, etc. If we look at milestone level 3 here, this is an interesting mix of the squares and the circles. And we're going to have also 2 others to do just after. But that will have to wait for the next episode, ladies and gents. This is really just the basics. As I said, we're going to be able to then unlock much more, which will bring, tons of logistic, trains, things like this. We're going to also have to paint things in different colors, right? You can see over here, like there's blue and red, there's green. You can see also some strange shapes, right? We're going to get more and more shapes, more and more levels. So we're just barely scratching the surface of the complexity of this game, but also of how great it is. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please do smash like button. It really helps a ton for me to know, if we should continue this series or not. And I hope to see you next time.